House Ryan Arena for a crucial Big Ten women's basketball game. Northwestern hosting number 21 Maryland. Conference taught these lineups as well, and you lock and load on Kayleen Smeichel for Maryland.
Well, we don't know how effective Cheyenne Sellers is going to be tonight, but Kayleen Smeichel, she's someone that Brenda Fries can definitely count on. She's one of the top scorers, not just in the conference, but in the entire country.
And I know you're high on Casey Harder wearing the Northwestern gear.
Casey Harder can play on the ball or off the ball. The last 5 games, she's been on a tear, and she's averaging 8 points, but an impressive 2.8 assists to turnovers.
All right, so we're moments away from tip. Maryland, as we mentioned, ranked number 21, coming in at 20-6, 10-5 in conference play. Huge win against Michigan last time out. Northwestern at 9-15, 2-11 in Big Ten play. They had the must-win game against Rutgers in their favor.
Well, I just thought, you talk about trying to play gritty and trying to finish games. And Northwestern against Rutgers, they got off to a big lead. Rutgers made a push to come back, and then Northwestern was able to hold them off. That's what's been missing all season with this squad.
So we are underway, kind of a wild shot right out of the chutes. One and done. If you see a lot of pink, you're not imagining things, Jim. It's the annual pink game, and both clubs looking resplendent in that hue.
Pretty in pink.
Good one. Love it. Long ball right out of the chutes. Nothing there for Jones. Boy, that's what happens when you push pace.
Caroline Lau, I mean, she leads the league in assists, and that's where she's at her best in transition.
And here she comes again. When Lau is running the floor and running this club, she is as effective as anybody in the conference.
Oh, and she's locked in. I mean, she is the engine of this Northwestern team, and they actually play at a pretty decent clip as far as their pace goes, and you can attribute that to Lau.
There's a good look at Brenda Fries in her 23rd year as the Maryland head coach. You look at that winning record, the winning percentage, and of course we always go back to the 2006 national title. Ooh, and one. So there's Smeichel doing her thing. You wanted her to step up. So far, so good.
And I know she missed her first 3, but I like the fact that she took it, that she's looking for her shot. But where she is absolutely dominant is in fast break. She averages over 4 fast break points a game. It's near the top in the conference.
And what mirrors that kind of is in her fast break efforts, she gets fouled a lot going to the rim, so she gets to the line as well.
And I hate to just keep throwing stats at you early, partner, but since you asked, I mean, the last 10 games, she's almost about 60% free throw rate, so she's getting to the line more than anyone else on this Terps team.
There's a good look at Smeichel, the transfer out of Rutgers. Boy, has she been an addition for this Maryland bunch.
You know, she was a great scorer for Rutgers. It didn't work out. I mean, her leaving Rutgers has already been well documented. We don't have to revisit it. But I will say this, is that sometimes change is an opportunity for something better to occur. And then when it comes to Kayleen Smeichel, that's the case.
Long ball. Not there, and boy, you look at the one-and-done situation for Northwestern, that's going to be huge tonight if they are to have any chance.
I mean, this is one of the better offensive rebounding teams in the entire conference. And so if Northwestern can do their job, limit them on the glass, then obviously that's going to bode well for them.
Other side of the coaching ledger, one of the all-time greats, Joe McEwen's 17th season as a Northwestern head coach. A couple of NCAA appearances. Has racked up an awful lot of wins in his 17th year, and 2020 Big Ten Coach of the Year.
You know, I look at both of these coaches, and they're both so successful. You know, Joe is the best here at Northwestern to do it, and Brenda, more wins than anyone else in Maryland history. But it's not just what they do, and it's how they do it. They excel, they win with so much class. You never hear about their kids getting in trouble or anything like that. They don't have to yell or berate kids. They're just two of the best that our game has to offer.
When you talk to the youngsters that come through the programs, those are the things they say about their respective coaches, those two.
And as a coach, that's what you want young people saying about you.
All right, that's a good sign. So Sellers with the bulky knee loads up on the three.
What I'm looking at is I'm looking at Cheyenne Sellers and I'm looking at Kayleen Smykel, and not necessarily how much they're making, but how many shots they're taking.
The activity level will be huge in terms of what to watch for Sellers too.
And Cheyenne Sellers, since Bree McDaniel has gone out the last 10 games with that ACL injury, Cheyenne Sellers' field goal attempts have increased a little bit. Her three-point percentage has gotten a little bit better because she's had to do a little bit more. So I want to see how aggressive those two Terps can be tonight.
5 on the shot clock. You got to do something. If you're Williams' butt, will go the other way on the travel.
It's that defense. It's that Maryland defense. That's what Brenda Fries wants to be known for. I mean, she's one of the best offensive teams in the country, but if she had her way, she'd also be, and probably would be, one of the best defensive teams in the country over the offensive stuff.
All right, so it's an early 6-3 Maryland lead. Boy, just kind of jacking something up as Sellers. She thought there was contact, but instead, air ball.
It's any other official maybe, but you're not going to get away with that with Melissa Barlow. She's been around and blocked too many times.
She has. One of the veterans and one of the better officials, that's for sure, in our game. So Northwestern with a chance to carve into the deficit. Ball on the deck. Williams, pump fake, and score.
So Christina Dulce was playing off of Taylor Williams, doesn't respect her as a three-point shooter, and the whole point is to keep Taylor Williams out of the paint. But she allowed Taylor Williams to get a little head start, a little steam going, and then she couldn't keep her from going to the rim. She's going to have to make that adjustment.
Look at Poffenberger, throws it away, then gets it right back. Right. You talk about turning defense into offense. All right. Foul on the other end.
I like Poffenbarger's her stick with it. You know, it's your next best action, right? And then all gas, no brakes with Kayleen Smykel.
Dulce picks up that foul, by the way, moments ago. That's her first, team's second.
So Dulce's going to have to spend a little bit of time on the bench, but you know, she's one of the better defenders on this Terps team, reigning Big East Defensive Player of the Year, and 2 straight possessions. She was supposed to clog up the gap there in the paint and didn't do her job.
So Jones gets one of 2, 8-6 Maryland lead. Awkward shot by Kubek, who had just checked in. Really critical for Northwestern. They don't mind a low-scoring game. In fact, that's probably the way they're going to win this thing. They got to be in it early. Glass just not quite there. I like the position for Walsh.
Post defense is an area where Maryland has struggled as of late. They get caught behind, like you just saw with Ali Kubik. Michigan gave them a really hard time on the low block in their game the other night.
Fisher checking in for Maryland.
And if I'm Northwestern, I'll just keep going back inside. I would just keep exploiting. I'd do some high-low action with Williams and Walsh.
High hedge and then the ball fake. And another travel. Things getting a little sloppy for both clubs, Jim.
Well, Jones had Williams on that block. She caught it to drive. You've got to catch. I mean, you've got to look at what's in front of you, and she would have saw her partner, number 33, with the post defender right on her back. You've got to look inside, take advantage of this mismatch that you have right now in the paint.
Mill, Daly checking in for Northwestern. Both clubs going to their benches. Kubiasu had a notion. Instead, Smykel, Poffenbarger, 8 on the shot clock. Basket didn't want it. Battle for the rebound. Well played. Lau with a good hustle board. And again, one and done, dumping it inside. Ooh, hands straight up, good block, good defense on the interior by Kubek.
Kaylee Walsh had her if she just turns to the middle, go over her middle shoulder, but instead she spun right back into the defender's hands. But that's what you want if you're Northwestern. You want that one-on-one ISO matchup on the low block.
Grace Sullivan into the lineup for Northwestern.
Now, Grace Sullivan is a different type of player than Kaylee Walsh, but still very much capable of scoring inside.
Quick hitter, well played, well executed. Northwestern, Sullivan with the bucket. Long ball, answer not there. Eight apiece. Northwestern doing a good job of hanging around, but there's the lazy pass. Poffenberger flies in. Remember, she's playing with a bad ankle that she sprained last time out in practice.
Didn't look bad right there.
Sure didn't. Ade Musayo into the lineup for Northwestern as well.
He looked against Rutgers, came out incredible first quarter, built a 16-point lead, and then held on when Rutgers made an emotional push to win that game. And you know how important that game was to Rutgers. I mean, they're fighting for their Big Ten tournament lives. Northwestern has lost more games in the Big Ten by 6 points or less than anyone else. They needed to have that finish against Rutgers.
And you know, you mentioned that win really gives it gives more than reason to believe for Rutgers or for Northwestern. That was a win they had to have. Coaches will tell you, the kids will tell you they had to have it, and that sets the table nicely. Tonight would be a yeoman's effort if they were to pull off the upset. But now they believe they're in good shape.
Absolutely, and they have, you know, they still have, they've got a couple winnable games, and you know, to finish up this season, and you don't know what's going to happen with the games that they miss, but it's exactly what you said. Beating Rutgers gave Northwestern something to continue to play for.
Mir McLean, who just checked in with a nice bucket. Both clubs again going to their respective benches. Single coverage, not able to seal the deal is Williams. Staying with it, Lau. Basket didn't want it. Another offensive rebound. Jump ball will be called. Possession arrow going the other way. So keep an eye on the bottom six. Critical for these clubs who want desperately to get into the tournament.
Getting into the tournament, it's almost like a new season.
Correct.
You don't want to be one of those three teams not in Indianapolis.
So you look at the final three. Don't look at the top of the standings, but the storylines in terms of the teams fighting to get in, just as compelling.
Absolutely.
So Harder picks up her first, second team.
I think this is an incredibly good sign for Maryland right now. The way that Kayleen Smeichel is playing with the aggressiveness that she's come out with. She's one player who really benefited from playing alongside Bree McDaniel. In fact, back in January, I had a chance to call a Maryland game, and Brenda Fries referred to them both as dogs, like as, you know, partners in crime, and a good way, of course.
Smeichel leads this bunch with 17.5 points a pop. All those steals, the rebounds. But here's something to keep an eye on. Jim, you know, she had double figures in the first 24 games of the season. Last two, 0 double-figure games. That's got to change.
Yeah, I mean, post-Bree, and I'll say, like, post-Bree McDaniel, she's had some slight decreases in her points per game, her field goal attempts, you know, her effective field goal percentage. So I love the aggressiveness with which she's playing tonight.
Mid-range, Poffenbarger. I'll tell you, Lau is mopping up on the board. She's really crashing. Well played by Williams, who just beat the double team and elevates to hit. that's just an unforced error that time. Daly couldn't catch up with the pass that was behind her.
This is like a track meet between these two teams. They're both their best offense is coming in transition, but Taylor Williams, you want to talk about someone who's got new life in the transfer portal. She's a totally different player now than she was a year ago with Michigan.
Numbers are crazy in terms of boards, points compared to last year.
She's playing with freedom. I don't know how else to describe it.
Boy, that's a great, great feed. I mean, you got to thank Michael for that bucket. So the lead is 3, but 20 left to go in this first quarter. McLean will pick up that foul, her first, team's third. There's, numbers don't lie, huh?
They don't lie. They don't tell the whole story, but they certainly don't lie. And the story is for Taylor Williams is just what a great fit that she's found here at Northwestern.
She really made hay at Western Michigan before transferring to Michigan. But to your point, the fit here, hand in glove. Play whistle dead.
Yeah, Kaylee Walsh was just being a little too aggressive, a little too extra. DTM doing too much, as I like to say, on that post-up. She's trying to take advantage of what she thought was the size advantage that she had over Cheyenne. And when you have a size advantage like that, you don't have to do all that extracurricular activity. Just post up.
Clever, all the way to the rack. Tibiasu just took advantage of a smidgen of room.
You want to talk about someone who the last 10 games have just really blossomed, really taken advantage of the increased minutes that she's gotten.
Catch, shoot, bangs it home is Walsh.
And that's what makes Kaylee Walsh hard to guard, because she's a post player who can stretch the defense, she can pick and roll, but she's really good in that pick and pop.
All right, Tibiasu answers again. My goodness.
Hey, she's capable of putting a team on her back. I mean, she's reigning A-10 Player of the Year. She can put up some big numbers.
Transfer out of VCU. Talk about finding a new home without missing a beat. Ooh, love the elevation by Daly. She gets hacked, she'll go to the line.
And that's tough. I mean, they don't call her mid-range Mel for nothing. And you know what she's gonna do. And then you foul a jump shooter, and that's just a freshman mistake. And Ava McKinney, she'll learn that. She'll learn that scouting report. She's trying to do a great job of closing out the gap and contesting that shot. But you don't want to foul a jump shooter.
So there's a good look at Daly, the senior out of New York. 11 points a pop. I really like her assist-to-turnover ratio. She does a good job of getting the team into the offense and not coughing it up. Seconds left in this first quarter. Wheeling, dealing. Gosh, Schmeichel just could not be stopped.
By 10. That's great if you're a Wildcat. Not so great if you're a fighting Brenda Fries, because that's one thing that Maryland really struggled with last year was their rebounding, and that's why she went out into the portal and got Saylor Poffenbarger and Christina Dulce, two incredible rebounders.
So second quarter underway. Williams scores quickly. What Northwestern isn't excited about, though, the turnovers in that first quarter really hurt the cause.
Yeah, too many turnovers for Northwestern that Maryland has done a really good job of converting into points.
Dumping it inside. Sullivan fading back. Unlucky there. She'll go to the line for a pair.
Grace Sullivan has just been such a great addition to Northwestern. They got her from the portal. She's averaging more points as a member of the Northwestern Wildcats in the Big Ten than she did at Bucknell, which was a mid-major, because she's got that perfect combination of skill and size. And you just saw that really nice little fadeaway jumper there. That's hard to guard, especially, you know, for someone who's 6'3" that can shoot that.
Sullivan from Antioch, Illinois, about 20 miles from here, basically coming home, and a lot of friends and family here to watch her play. You mentioned the transfer out of Bucknell. She's been healthy all year as well this season, and that's certainly helping.
Absolutely, and the great news for Northwestern is they get her for 2 years. She's not one of those like one and done transfers.
Oh man, Poffenbarger, you mentioned how critical it was to add her, the handles and the finish and one.
I mean, we're talking about skilled bigs, and Sailor Poffenbarger, she's got that versatility. This is a post player who's putting it between her legs, crossing you over, and then taking you to the rack. I mean, that is skill. Like that, she's a WNBA type talent.
This is her third school. She started at UConn, played the 1 year, only 6 total points before then going to Arkansas, where she lit it up in the 2 years there. And boy, when Maryland signed her, that was news heard coast to coast.
Oh, I mean, it's great for Brenda because, you know, like I mentioned earlier, that this was an issue where Brenda really struggled with last year is on the defensive end with her group. They just weren't rebounding, just weren't very tough defensively. So you go into Porto, you get a Christina Dulce, you get a Sailor Poffenbarger, and what a difference a year makes.
Just short on that effort, and actually it was a really well-run play, getting an open look at the cup, not there, and live ball turnover. No problem for Schmeichel, and that will have Joe McEwen calling a timeout.
Yeah, that would have had me calling a timeout.
Yeah,
like
I got you.
From over here on the scorers table, I'd be calling a timeout.
State of Success is sponsored by State Farm. Already in double figures is Schmeichel. We talked about the fact that the last 2 games, she wasn't in double figures, breaking a 24-game streak. And she's right where she belongs. Another turnover coming against Northwestern. The cough-ups are just killing the Cats.
Right now, Maryland's best offense has been their defense. They're taking those turnovers that they're creating from Northwestern, they're converting them into points. They've got 13 points already on Northwestern's turnovers.
Poffenbarger, long ball. Man, the second left her hand, Jim.
I'm telling you, energy is contagious, and Maryland really set the tone with their defense. They're connected right now. They look like they're having fun.
8-0 Maryland run. Another turnover, and the wheels are coming off. Well done by Daly to pick that one off. Let's see if she can hit. You bet. All right, here comes some heat. Backside. Daly just all over the place. Boy, she smelled that one coming, huh?
Mel Daly, I mean, she is a starter. She's a reserve in a starter's body is what she is. And she's very athletic. And she's a senior. And so therefore she's playing with a sense of urgency. So you can't make lazy passes around Mel Daly.
So great news to remind you again, Cheyenne Sellers. We didn't know if she would play until today, and cleared to play after retweaking that bad knee last time out against Michigan. How do you think she's been looking?
I think she looks great. I mean, if she is hobbled still by the knee, you really can't tell. And what she's doing is also she's showing a great deal of toughness, and she's already on a high up on a lot of WNBA draft boards. So I hope what scouts are seeing is her toughness, her commitment.
Oh, I really like that play by Walsh. Nice footwork and a quick step to the basket.
I just like anything where you can get Kaylee Walsh going to the rim.
Sellers shows the 3. I mean, she goes down so late in that Michigan game, and you kind of forget that in that game, she becomes the one and only player in program history with the 1,500 points, 500 boards, 500 assists.
And think about it. Like think about the players that have gone through the Maryland program, at least since Brenda Fries has been there the last 20 plus years. And she's one of the only. She is the only. She's one of one.
That's it. Coming out of that, Poffenbarger. Nice find. And to the line, McLean.
He said Cheyenne Sellers is one of one.
Yep.
Her versatility is her strength, her ability to knock down the three, to score inside, to play the point guard when she needs to, and of course get on the glass. Can't say enough about her.
What a career she has had. In all phases of the game, Shai impacts the game.
I mean, look at this graphic.
Yep.
Points, assists, and last year she had to do so much more. They were really shorthanded. It's a documented story about Maryland and the excellent coaching job that Brenda Fries did with that group last year. I mean, they limped across the finish line last year to get into the NCAA tournament, and now this year with more talent and more depth around Shai, she hasn't had to do as much until Bree McDaniel went out.
Yikes. Fisher knew she was going to create some contact with that great fake. So Williams picks up her second.
Yeah, that's tough by Emily Fisher because more power to her. I wouldn't have had the toughness or the temerity to stand in there and take that one.
Williams picks up her second foul, by the way. Third team foul. Saturday, more women's hoops coming your way. Wolverines battle the Lady Lions. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Taylor Thomas checking in for Northwestern. 37-22.
Other than that little stretch a few minutes ago by Maryland, I've just been really impressed with the way that they've come out in the second quarter.
Tibiasu picks up that dribble, and now it'll be a half-court set for Maryland. Really good job by Harder to crash the boards and draw the foul. Schmeichel picks up that foul, her first.
Nice little give and go by Emily Fisher, the sophomore, who's really starting to get back into the rhythm of things. She missed several games for some health reasons earlier, and just her skill and her ability to pass, score inside, shoot the three.
Under 5 to go in the second quarter. Bailey can't shake the defender, so now it'll be an inside game and presence. And immediately Thomas makes her presence felt.
Across the board, Northwestern has a size advantage against Maryland. They have this rotation of 5 different post players who all have 5 different sets of strength, whether it's the ability to shoot outside like Walsh and Sullivan, or score inside like Thomas.
Nice answer by Daly. Boy, I really like her game off the bench. Sellers floats, not there. Offensive board, and Poffenbarger not able to connect on the three, so Lau will push pace. Oh boy, right into the hands of the Maryland defense. Poffenbarger, no foul called. She lands awkwardly. Remember, she's playing with a sprained ankle and is grabbing that ankle. Oh boy.
And to add insult to injury, she probably should have gotten the and one on that. There was a lot of contact on that as well.
Oh, she's hurting. Walk us through it, Shim.
I mean, again, it starts with Maryland's defense, that they're creating an offense. But you see a little bit of contact right there by Caroline Lau, or I'm sorry, Casey Harder. No, Caroline Lau, right there, yeah, right there, coming across her arm.
No question.
You know, and then now Sailor Poffenbarger's a little off balance in the air. She gets turned around a little bit and then lands awkwardly, and you hate to see that. You certainly hope that she's okay.
Yeah, good look at Sailor unlacing the boot. Boy, okay. You can sure see the awkward plant as she comes down. It was a heck of a finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great focus. I mean, you saw her head on the rim the entire time, her eyes on the rim the entire time, which is exactly what you want. You don't want to be looking at the defender when you're an offensive player going up for a layup. But the story, the whole story is really the turnover in the first place. It's just an unnecessary risk that Caroline Lau took, making that pass in transition, and that's been the depth of Northwestern so far, is their turnovers.
Boy, Daly has just been a spark, hasn't she?
She was the first one out today before the game. She was out easily an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes before the game. The only one in the gym, and that was the shot that she was working on over and over again, was that pull-up jumper.
Lau picks up her first, team's fourth. Time and time again, Maryland getting straight line bursts to the basket.
And that's got to be killing Joe McEwen, because he is one of the extraordinary defensive coaches in the country. I mean, this man has won championships in every league he's played in because of his ability to teach defense.
So Schmeichel having herself a game at this point, hits a couple. Nobody goes to the line more often, makes and takes for Maryland as Walsh returns to the Northwestern lineup. 43-28. All right, 3:21 left to go in the second. What can Northwestern do to feel a little bit better going into the break?
Stop turning the ball over.
Okay.
Did I just simplify that? Did I just make that too simple?
Heck no. All right, you wanted point production in the paint, or at least attempts in the paint. You're looking at it right there.
And continue doing that. Every time Northwestern has hit a slip or a roll or hit a cutter, made a high-low pass like what we just saw with Walsh and Thomas, they've had success. They've either gotten fouled or scored or else missed like a point-blank shot, but it's been a successful attempt. They have an advantage inside.
Sellers couldn't quite catch up. Picks up her first, team's third, as Thomas, the freshman out of New Jersey.
And Northwestern, they have this rotation. They have this stable of post players who can give Maryland different looks. So I would just keep running through them.
Plenty of time on the shot clock. Sellers back rim and off. Northwestern's ball.
That was a contested three by Cheyenne Sellers. I'd like to see a little more movement. When Maryland has had success of driving to the lane, it's been after the ball has crossed court a couple of times.
Good news for Maryland. Poffenbarger back on the floor. Got that ankle re-taped, shim, and ready to go.
She just rubbed some dirt on it. Spit on it maybe. She's back out there.
That's old school right there. Hesitation. Good defense inside by Kubek, and here comes Maryland. Tibiasu rimming out. Fisher. And Schmeichel will go to the line.
See, I don't mind that three by Maryland. Yes, that was a quick three, but that was a three that came in transition. You had Emily Fisher down there in the paint for rebounding purposes. This was a good three. Maryland is at their best in transition or in the quarter court when they're moving the ball, getting Northwestern in rotation, and then they have open driving lanes.
Thomas, by the way, will take a seat. She just picks up her first, team's fifth. Williams back on the floor for Northwestern. Schmeichel doing a really good job in a hot first half for Maryland. 1 of 2. 44-28. Walsh. There's your inside presence, Jim.
Almost makes me wish I was like coaching again. If I were right this much as I am right now in this game when I was coaching, I would still be coaching. But again, this is a great job of Northwestern of recognizing that post defender, and Maryland was playing behind Kaylee Walsh. Go inside.
Kubek picks up that foul, by the way, her first, team's fourth. All right, coming up on the All-State halftime show. Rick Pizzo and Autumn Johnson break down the first half. They're going to preview the second half of our Big Ten doubleheader. We got a good one coming up after hours. UCLA, Illinois, Pauley Pavilion. Come on now, top 25 showdown. We got the whole thing. Michael, looks like she turned it over. And she did.
What I like about this is Carolyn Lau. She wasn't guarding Smichael. She came over to help. She came all the way over to help and dug down on that drive and then created that turnover. That's a great job by the point guard, the junior point guard, Caroline Lau.
Saw some energy from the bench, too. That's a good sign, Shim, when the turnover was created. Catch and shoot, Walsh, back rim and off. Tibiasu wants to push. The carry?
You don't see that very often.
Nope, you don't see it called.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, you do see it very often, but you're right. You don't see it called very often. But there's no question about it. You can see it right here when she takes it to her left hand. Yeah, right there. And like I said, you're not going to get too much past this officiating crew. It's a vet officiating crew.
Up 25 right here left to go in the second quarter. Dumping it inside. Found the lead hand nicely. Ooh, how about Walsh trying to reverse it?
She's skilled. Kaylee Walsh is very skilled. Could have easily made that or drawn the foul, but she stepped out of bounds on the baseline.
Sure did.
Yeah,
Unlucky.
It's a nice, quick move.
Like the idea.
As a post player.
Yep.
Absolutely. But as long as Maryland is going to play behind and not double or not send dig downs on the post, I keep going inside.
10 on the shot clock. Hoffenbarger sizing up the defense. Hesitates. My goodness, she's tough on the run, isn't she?
I really like her game. I am a big Sailor Poffenbarger fan because of her versatility, her IQ, like her toughness.
Yes.
It's a great tough move. So when you've got someone who can knock down threes, but then also take bigger players off the bounce like that and finish inside or finish through traffic, that's a special type of talent.
So Walsh picks up her third. And again, as you mentioned, this is a 6'2" player that can play big, down low, put the ball on the deck, out top. She can hurt you in so many ways.
I mean, she's that rare bird who can come off of a ball screen or set a ball screen and be equally effective at either.
46-30, balanced scoring attack for Maryland. This ball game was close early on. Second quarter dominated by the Terps. We're going to go the other way. Basket waved off. It looks like they're going to get Williams. And that's her third.
And this has kind of been an Achilles heel for Williams. That's the one flaw in her game is her foul trouble, particularly offensive fouls. With her athleticism and her size, I would like her to trust that a little bit more. She can jump over people. She doesn't have to create space like she's 5'10". She's not. She's 6'2", and she's an athlete.
So two starters for Northwestern with 3 fouls apiece, Walsh and Williams. Hoffenbarger, oh, what a hesitation and fake. So Sullivan picks up her second. More tosses for Maryland with 16.5 left in this second quarter. A stanza dominated by the Terps.
Yeah, and Joe McEwen and the Wildcats, they're incredulous over there. They didn't feel like that was a foul. But I got to be honest with you, when I was coaching, I never felt like my players fouled either.
You all say the same thing, coaches.
Yes.
You do.
Yes, we do. Foul? What foul?
That was like me and my siblings with mom and dad. It wasn't me. It was them. Yeah. Biggest lead of the game right here, right now for Poffenbarger and her Terps. She's making hay at the free throw line. And again, this is a Maryland team that does get to the line.
They do. And they get to the line, and when they get to the line, they convert. And so if you're Brenda Fries, you want to pick up a win on the road. That's one way to do it, is free throws. And right now, they're 14-16 from the line.
Shot clock off, game clock at 8 right here. Daly, there's the kick. if you do something, if you're Maryland in a hurry, maybe you get, maybe you don't. All right, 48-30 Maryland.
You've got to finish this season strong. You've got to control what you can control, and it's not going to be easy for them. They still have Ohio State down the stretch, but it certainly helps when Ohio State, the team that's ahead of them, or one of the teams that's ahead of them, when they don't take care of business and lose a game that they're not supposed to, which is the way it's trending right now against Indiana.
So third quarter underway, offensive rebound and putback for Schmeichel and Maryland as Williams is able to get low and score quickly to answer.
And this is kind of a deja vu of the Rutgers. Taylor Williams got in some foul trouble against Rutgers in the first half, was very limited, and then came out in the third quarter and fourth quarter against Rutgers and just really went to town and had 10 points in the second half.
Daly starting the third quarter for Northwestern. I loved her energy off the bench in the first half. Another turnover plaguing Northwestern.
And this is a team that only turns the ball over about 14 times a game. And so it's really uncharacteristic of them the way that they're not taking care of the ball, especially at home. Now, give credit to Maryland and their defense. I feel like Maryland's defense has been very disruptive tonight.
But you look at a lot of the unforced errors as well. You know, Coach Joe is just dying with those as Schmeichel continues to fill it up.
Northwestern goes to a zone, and then Kayleen Schmeichel makes them pay with a corner three.
18 points now for Schmeichel. Ball on the deck. Walsh not able to get it home. You like that attempt because it was so high percentage.
I do, and it's what I wanted to see from Northwestern all night and what they've been doing. And for the most part, to great success. I just thought that Saylor Pothenberger's defense was better.
Good interior defense by Northwestern.
So the adjustment that Northwestern has made to slow down Maryland's offense is to go to a zone. But look at Kayleen Schmeichel with the sneaky sub-cut along the baseline. Got right behind that zone defense of Northwestern's to knock down that corner three.
Only had the 9 points against Michigan. She would be the first to tell you that's disappointing. She is filling it up tonight.
Well, she's one of the top scorers in the country, not just the conference, but in the entire country. And there's just been stretches the last 10 games where she's disappeared. That can't happen, especially down the stretch for Maryland.
Again, down low, high percentage. This time, it's Walsh.
I mean, it's not sexy and, just pounding it down, inside. There's nothing, high-tech about that, but it's effective.
And don't you try and do that every time down if you're Northwestern?
I would.
If you can take care of the ball and get that low post presence, heck yeah. Schmeichel rimming off. Good offensive board. That's why you want Dulcie on the floor.
And this is how Maryland can make Northwestern pay if Northwestern continues to stay in that zone, because that's what you're giving up in a zone defense, is you're giving up offensive rebounds. And so now you have two of the best offensive rebounders in the conference in Pothenberger and Dulcie in there against the zone. Northwestern better be careful.
Dulcie doesn't play a whole lot in that first half because of the 2 fouls. You see right there, boom, the energy level she brings on the offensive glass.
And right now is where she can thrive as long as Northwestern continues to play zone.
Loud pushing. No! Again, inside. Walsh running the floor well. She draws the foul.
And that was on Dulcie, too.
Okay, that's her third.
So now she'll go back to the bench, and then we'll see Allie Kubik, who, Allie Kubik doesn't have the athleticism of Christina Dulcie, but, she's going to give you about 4 rebounds a game as well.
Moments ago, Taylor Williams, we've been talking about her a lot. The grad from Michigan picks up her 1,000th career rebound. Does that tell you about the work ethic?
Congratulations to her. It is not easy to grab 1,000 rebounds in any conference, but especially in a league as tough as this one. And she has thrived since transferring to Northwestern.
That is lunch pail stuff right there. That is going to work every day. Poffenberger stepping through, grabs her own miss, 10 on the shot clock. Poffenberger just kind of let that one sail, didn't she?
Yeah, and she knows it. She's saying, my bad right now, which every coach hates to hear, my bad. But, you know, I mean, I appreciate her acknowledging it. You just got to slow down. You just can't make these careless or, you know, casual one-arm passes across the court.
All right, Walsh really starting to feel frisky.
And so this is how Northwestern can get back in this, is by having Maryland go.
One of the best analysts in the land, daughter Allie, working for dad Joe. I mean, it's a family affair here, but huge congrats to Megan and Patrick, and welcome to the world, JJ.
Little JJ's got Papa Joe, you know, one of the best coaches to do it. His mom was a shooter and can talk a great game about basketball. His dad's a coach, coaching right now at Iona. Like, you think this kid doesn't have basketball in its DNA?
Amen to that. Williams draws the foul. Poffenberger picks up her first, team's second.
So I'm not crazy about the way that Maryland has come out after halftime. I just feel like Northwestern is coming out with a lot more energy, and I think a lot of that has to do with Mel Daly being inserted in the starting lineup to start this second half. But Northwestern's energy right now is exceeding Maryland's sense of urgency.
So the run continues for Northwestern. You know, we just had a good look at Brenda Fries on the bench. You mentioned it, winningest ever at Maryland. And another 20-win season for Coach Fries. What she has done, the level of consistency is just nuts.
And I'll just keep going back to, it's not, for me, it's not just the what, it's also the how. And it's how she's done it.
Clever, Williams. And I'm with you, partner. With you 100%. 9-0 Northwestern run. Sellers rimming out. Good board by Williams. Look out from behind there, young'un. Takes contact, will play on. Great job by Williams. Daly, three-pointer.
That's something you don't see very often.
Just a deuce. Sorry, that was a long two. 53-33. Again, impressive run by the Cats. Crowds into this one. Sellers blocked by Harder. Or did they call a foul?
It's exceeding Maryland's sense of urgency, as that was a really nice baseline out of bounds play and finished by Sailor. Poffenberger is even though Maryland has had the advantage this entire game, you still have to have a sense of urgency when you're on the road.
There it is.
And to beat teams that you are supposed to beat, and that's a sign of a mature team.
Wow, how good has Daly been for this Northwestern bunch? Starting the second half and bring it, they're gonna wave it off.
Yeah, this is an offensive foul, and you see Sarah Tibiasu, she is there. She is there now. Now, what fans don't like is it looked like Mel Daly might have released that, but there was still the contact that was made. I thought Mike McConnell had great position underneath the basket to make that call, and that was such a momentum killer for Northwestern.
Man, you can understand, it was a great finish by Daly, that's for sure. And obviously elevating with the floater, but we're going to wave that basket off. Poffenberger. Poffenberger is so aggressive. Long ball. Schmeichel not there. And Williams wants to push pace. You know, one of the things that Northwestern had been doing early in this third quarter was not turning the ball over.
Yeah, so I know that the fans behind us are really upset because you can see Sarah Tibiasu start to lean back before the call was made, but Mel Daly still landed on her. That is still a foul.
Good ball movement, Terps. Ball up for grabs. Not letting them play. Here we go. Lau wants to push.
And the physicality, that's going to behoove Northwestern right now.
Cats almost turn it over. They have 20 cough-ups at this point. 55-43. 9 on the shot clock for Daly and the Cats. Walsh, who's been hot, misses the layup, and Poffenberger really hurting now.
Now it looks like she's grabbing her other ankle. Before she was grabbing her right ankle. Now it looks like it's her left ankle.
Oh my goodness.
She fell away, Joey.
She is really hurting.
Yeah, you can see the pain that she's experiencing
My
right now.
goodness.
It's a tough one.
Sellers and Schmeichel right there with her. Poffenberger, who's been so dynamic with the 16 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists.
She's been absolutely phenomenal in this game. And it's not just what she's done on the offensive side, but on the defensive end too. But right there, you just see her roll that ankle. There's no contact, or she didn't step on Kaylee Walsh. She just rolled her ankle, and she doesn't even want to put pressure on it right now. She can't put pressure on it.
My goodness. At this point in the season, where you know time and treatment is your only medicine, this is just heartbreaking for her and Maryland.
You lose Bree McDaniel, who by all accounts was the heart, the soul, the engine of this Maryland team. Brenda Fries called her the connector.
Yep.
She was the connector of this team. So you lose her for the season to an ACL. Immediately following that, the very next game against Texas, Cheyenne Sellers hurts her knee, so she's out for a few games. And obviously we talked about her retweaking it the other night against Michigan, and now this.
It has been the winter of discontent for this Maryland bunch. The connective tissue in Bree McDaniel, who made this team go on both ends of the floor, gone. And of course, Sellers with the knee tweak. Poffenberger losing her. I mean, no speculation as to how serious the ankle injury is, but she had to be carried off the floor and was in a lot of pain.
Right.
Good block from behind. Williams claps her hands.
And that's the shot that you want. If you were Maryland, I thought their patience was outstanding. They got a great look at it, but it's Mira McLean who's giving up about 3 inches down underneath.
Step back, tough shot for Sullivan, not even close. Tibiasu wants a lane to the bucket. Nice defense by Lau to cut her off. Sellers, long ball, you bet.
And that's what you want. What you need right now is to make sure that Saylor Poffenberger's injury isn't deflating to the team. And so you've got to have someone right now who's going to come out and provide a spark and some boost of energy to this Terp squad.
Lau dumping it. Great extra pass to Williams, who was all by herself on that weak side.
Cheyenne Sellers is the natural leader for this Maryland team. So if they need a big bucket, if they need a boost of energy, it should come from her. And Taylor Williams, I mean, it's a great job by Caroline Lau of penetrating, of drawing that X5 defender and freeing Taylor Williams up. She's just been the recipient of some really good passes by Caroline Lau, and to her credit, she's been able to finish all night.
Lau, who was absolutely mopping up in the rebound department with 9, also has the 6 assists, and that's where she butters the bread.
I mean, she leads the conference in assists per game.
Yep.
It's always, since the day she stepped on campus, has always been a true pass-first point guard. You would like to think that, you know, as she continues to develop, her perimeter shooting will improve, but right now, Joe needs her to set everybody else up, and she's done an outstanding job of that.
Last 5, she's averaged 5 assists and only 2 turnovers. That's impressive. Back rim and off to Biasu. And here comes Lau in double figures in the rebound department. Daly flies in and scores.
So Joe McEwen called a timeout and put on a full court press. And Maryland did exactly what Joe McEwen wanted Maryland to do. And they didn't turn Maryland over, but Sarah Tibiasu took a quick shot. No one else touched the ball. And then Maryland was able to, Northwestern was able to convert that to points on the other end.
Play whistle dead. Let's see what we got here. Lau whistled for that foul. She thought she had the pick.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from this angle. To her credit, though, what the restraint of not slamming that ball down.
Yeah, she wanted to.
That's poise right
wanted
there.
to sandbag it, but she didn't. Buck 25 left to go in the third. Schmeichel takes a bump. 4 on the shot clock. Sellers, another 3, and if I'm not mistaken, that's her 4th triple of the game.
This is how you want to beat this zone. Patience, move the ball around, get it going, change sides, get the zone in rotation.
Well executed half-court game. And by the way, Sellers with her 4 triples, that's a new career high. Let's see if Northwestern has a stop in him, Shim. Shove from behind is Schmeichel. She'll go to the line.
Maryland in this possession, an excellent job of showing poise and just really working the ball around the perimeter. I'm going to give a lot of credit to Emily Fisher. She doesn't play a lot, but she's a smart player, and she could have taken that shot, but instead she got her defender up to jump, and then she was able to reverse the ball, move the ball back through the top until it found Cheyenne Sellers for the open 3.
Shoot, we didn't even know if Sellers was going to play today. She was game time decision. She's having herself a ball game.
Baller's ball.
I got you. Schmeichel also coming tonight. 63-49. Good start to the third quarter for Northwestern. Maryland, though, maintaining that lead. And Williams draws yet another foul. She'll go to the line.
Northwestern has really done a great job of beating Maryland with slips and rolls to the rim. Slips, rolls, cuts to the rim, and Maryland hasn't really been able to adjust.
Kubek picks up her third, team's third. Williams to the line, 56% free throw shooter, looks pretty good on that one. One more, every point obviously critical for Northwestern. Williams well into double figures with the 15, 63-51. There's the walk. I think Sellers was kind of surprised she was so open.
And I was thinking the same thing. She couldn't believe she was so wide open. Major gap in the middle of that zone.
All right, so shot clock off, game clock at 20. You're within 10 after 3, and you've got reason to hope. Let's see if Maryland can squeeze something off. Long ball, long ball. All right, so 63-53 is our score.
They came into this game already shorthanded and then just got even more shorthanded as the game progressed.
So fourth quarter underway, 63-53. Maryland with the lead. Play whistle dead before the basket is allowed. So Sellers picks up her first, team's first, as the fourth quarter is just seconds old.
If there's any, carryover or left or residue, I should say, from Cheyenne's knee injury, it would be what we just saw. A little slow, a step slow on the defensive end. I think pre-knee injury Shy, she would have been able to cut off the baseline and prevent that. That wouldn't have been a foul. It probably would have just been a great defensive play.
Daly flies in, takes contact, nothing called. Schmeichel, by the way, moments ago, picks up her third. We'll keep an eye on that. But tip of the cap to Northwestern, owning the third quarter, 23-15 to get back in it. Long ball short. Flagging down the rebound is Northwestern. Right ball turnover. Tibiasu flying in and scoring. Another turnover, and man, when it's in the run of play, Ooh, wow. Harder just got hammered.
Harder with the aggressive drive. I mean, sacrificing her body. Kaylee Schmeichel just didn't get there in time. But Harder, more of this from Harder in the fourth quarter as Northwestern continues to make this push.
So Schmeichel will take a seat. 4 fouls. Picking up too quickly here in this fourth quarter. Harder, good free throw shooter.
I was really concerned about Northwestern's ability to defend Maryland without fouling. And the first half, that was the case. But in the second half, Maryland has had a really difficult time of guarding Northwestern.
Sellers. There's the skip pass. Ball fake. Tibiasu. Sellers almost turns it over. Well, we will go the other way.
The adjustment that Joe McEwen has made in the second half, going to the zone defense, inserting Mel Daly into the starting lineup, it's just really been the boost that the Wildcats have needed.
Backdoor, good hands by Kubek. And we were just told, Shim, that Poffenbarger will not return tonight. No surprise there.
Yeah, I would have been shocked had she returned. And there's no need for her to return as long as Maryland can hang on and close this game out, keep this lead. At this point in this league, a road win is a road win. You'd love to come in here and just absolutely dominate a team on the road, but I don't care who the team is in this conference. This league is just that good. You're not just going to walk in and beat someone by 20, 30 points at their place.
And Northwestern obviously showing a lot of improvement lately. You figured they were going to come in ready for a fight, and they have given Maryland a good tussle at this point. My goodness, look at Sellers. Would not be denied on that board.
I love that toughness.
Me too, throwing the elbows.
And we have to remember Northwestern's record is a little deceptive. I mean, they've lost a lot of ball games by a couple of possessions.
Yep. Fouls continue to mount against Maryland.
Yeah, that was another quick little foul. Ava McKinney, we saw that from her in the first half. But I'll tell you this, she's a freshman, and she's earning her minutes. And Brenda's, giving her, playing her a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. She's going to make mistakes like that. We saw in the first half, she fouled the jump shooter in Mel Daly, and that one she got the foul trying to crash the glass and follow her own shot. You can live with those mistakes from a freshman.
Well, she'll take a seat right now. Dulcie back in. Already 5 team fouls on Maryland, and there's 7:43 left to go in this game. Now, the good news for Brenda Fries is that Northwestern is near the bottom in free throw percentage as a team. Ten-point lead, tons of time left to go in this ball game. A rare miss from distance for Sellers.
And this is where you miss Sailor Poffenberger. Ali Kubik, Sailor Poffenberger, two totally different types of players.
Tibiasu bailing out the Maryland half-court set, and she'll dictate the offense. Dumping it inside, good look, finish, not there, Dulcie. She'll try it again, and she'll go to the line. Nobody boards like she does on the offensive end for Maryland. Tough.
She owes Cheyenne Sellers a cup of coffee or something, because that was a nice dime that Cheyenne dropped into her, and all she's got to do is go up with it. She's got to go up off 2 feet, but I love her resiliency. I love her stick with itness. Is that a word, or did I just make
it is
that
now.
up, right?
Nope, you're good.
Now.
I'm following you.
And to follow her own shot.
All right, so Williams picks up her 4th foul. And, man, she's got to be really careful with a ton of time left. They need her on the floor to the Cats.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we might see some offense-defense from her, if Coach McEwen will try and take her out on the defensive end, or just leave her in and just let her go to work.
There she is, picking up the dribble. Daly walks.
So if Coach McEwen were going to go offense-defense, now would be the time to sub Taylor out, but he's just going to let her play.
22 turnovers now on Northwestern. They had a season-high 29 against Ohio State. They've got to really turn that around the final 6:50 of this game if they're going to have a chance. Dulcie, reeling, dealing, wild shot. Lau with yet another rebound. She's got 11. Short on that shot is Walsh. Tibiasu. Good job by Daly to stem that fast break. Sellers wide open. Dulcie. Pretty good D by Walsh.
It's a good shot by Cheyenne Sellers. I mean, it's almost like she's hesitating because she just can't believe that she's so open. You've already knocked down 4. You don't have anything to think about. Or you knocked down 4. You don't have anything else to think about. Just let it
her fly.
Yeah,
there you go.
Let it fly.
I gotcha. Ooh. Good hands by Harder, almost causing the turnover. I like how hard the Cats have been playing this second half.
They're playing like a team. It really means something to them to try to get to Indianapolis. And I love it. I absolutely love to see that.
Northwestern fighting for its tournament life, if you will.
They're not a team who's already made plans to go to the beach for spring break.
Heck no.
They're trying to get to the Big Ten tournament.
6 on the shot clock. Dulcie. Reverse, not there. Good board, Thomas. Dumping it inside. Another foul going against Maryland. Kubek, she's got 4.
And Grace Sullivan was able to draw that, and this is where Northwestern might have an advantage, because I just think Northwestern is so deep with their posts, and so now you've got all these Maryland post defenders in foul trouble. Poffenberger's out for the rest of the game, and meanwhile Northwestern can take Taylor Williams out, but you can put in Grace Sullivan, who's, you know, different type of player, but equally effective on the low block.
Got them both. And man, if you're Northwestern, you just hammer it inside. At the very least, you're going to go to the line. 5:50 left to go in the 4th. 67-57. Maryland with the lead. Basically, they've led wire to wire. I think Northwestern might have had the first bucket of this game, but other than that, it's been a Maryland lead.
You see Maryland now has gone deep in their bench.
Ooh, Daly with the near pick, 7 on the shot clock. Great feed. You love the feed by Fisher.
I like that kid. She's smart. High IQ kid.
So Lau will go to the line. Tibiasu with the foul, her second. And Lau, who has done so much damage with the 11 boards and 8 assists, will try and pick up her first points of the game. There's point number 1.
So if you're Northwestern, you don't let off the gas. You're aggressive. Everything from this point on is you're trying to get into the paint.
Big time, big time. Lau with the feathery touch. Nobody better in the Big Ten in terms of assists. Now in the scoring column as well. Long ball, Tibiasu. There's your answer.
And I like that. I like having the ball in Cheyenne Sellers' hands, and now Tibiasu is the recipient of those corner threes. Shy's just missed a couple of them. Now let Tibiasu shoot.
Oh, Daly almost got her feet knocked from underneath her and is able to complete the shot, go to the line, and one.
Western, she's got to be feeling really good about where her team is.
Man, you want that double bye for all kinds of reasons, and Maryland still has serious action if they can hold on today.
Maryland really wants that double bye because of Sailor Poffenberger's stats.
Heartbreaker there for Daly off the pick, not there. Look at everybody. Daly knocked up. Daly off the bench. Memorable game. She's got 18. Oh my goodness, another pick. And the banker from Harder. What have we here?
And then immediately Brenda Fries looks down at Shy Sellers and says, get in there.
You bet.
No lead is safe when you're a team who's fighting for your Big Ten tournament hopes and dreams, and then you have the athleticism and the hustle of Taylor Williams and Mel Daly on your side. These two players, they're a two-player press in themselves.
Man, Northwestern will just not go away. And 4:20, ton of time in a 2-possession game. What a run. And the defense telling the tale. The last time we were this close was in the second quarter when it was 22-18. And then this Maryland club boat raced till half. Now it's Northwestern's turn.
And then here, Brenda Fries thought that she was probably going to get to rest her senior, Cheyenne Sellers, for the rest of the game, but nope, she's got to come back in and finish this.
That's a great point. Ooh. That's the way you break a press and break the heat.
And that's the only way to break a press. Limited dribbles, advancing the ball, and then finishing with the layup.
Boy, Maryland, stating the obvious, needed that. Wow, Sullivan with the little set shot, long ball. It was a deuce, steal, bucket. Daly continues to make her presence felt. This crowd is up. And Lau picks up her fourth.
And that was a very dangerous pass by Shy Sellers to Amari DeBerry.
So Lau again with the 4 fouls. She's got to stay on the floor. Only the second team foul though for Northwestern. 3:30 left to go in the game right here. Northwestern's defense just wreaking havoc. Nice step through, great step through by DeBerry.
What a nice luxury if you're Brenda Fries to have a player, a couple of players who've transferred from Connecticut or other Power 5 schools on your bench to come in as needed.
DeBerry, one of them.
Mari DeBerry, she doesn't play a whole lot in this Maryland lineup, but she's made her impact felt very quickly tonight with 2 quick baskets off the bench for the Terrapins.
So a couple of tosses for Sullivan, the junior transfer out of Bucknell.
I like her, Ann.
I do too. I'm with you.
She's skilled, she's consistent, and the thing that I've noticed about Grace Sullivan is when she's aggressive, Northwestern's better. They really feed off of her aggressiveness. And as a transfer who's only been in this program for a few months, you don't usually see that sort of immediate impact.
So again, here comes some heat from Northwestern. Coach McEwen has his team dialed in, believing, and really doing some damage on the defensive end. Ball hawking. DeBerry, big step. Nothing there. Oh man, Dulcie again making a living on the offensive glass, will go to the line.
This is a great opportunity for Christina Dulcie, because in a press situation like this, Northwestern's in a scramble. They don't necessarily have a player to box out, and in that way she can kind of sneak in there and get on the offensive glass, which is what she does best.
Fourth in the conference in offensive rebounds. Dulcie not a great free throw shooter, 51%. Oh wow, tipped off of Northwestern, and that's a heartbreaker for the Cats. Shimmy's told you about all the tough losses that Northwestern has suffered in conference play, and right now they'd love to reverse the trend.
And we saw them headed in that direction against Rutgers. I mean, that was a game that a month ago they would have lost. They've struggled with finishing games. Rutgers, they looked outstanding. Let's see what they do tonight.
Another foul is going to go against Maryland. More free throws for Northwestern. DeBerry picks up her second.
I know that Brenda Fries is not happy with her post defense. All night long, these post players have just stood behind the Northwestern offensive players and picked up these cheap fouls.
The defense reacting more than anything else, and Northwestern beating them to spots as Williams rims out the first attempt. All right, gets one of two. 2:39 left. It's a 4-point Maryland lead. Boy, this is when you want to start crashing defensively on the boards if you're Northwestern, Shim. Can you keep Dulcie off the offensive glass? 7 on the shot clock right here for Sellers. Little runner. Big hoop for Schmeichel. There's Walsh, deep position. Daly dumps it right back into Walsh, who reposts. Can't score, she'd love that one back.
But much better job of post defense by Maryland. Did you see the crowd around the post on the catch?
Under 2 to go. Still anybody's ball game.
And if you're Maryland, you want to stay aggressive offensively. You don't want to overthink the zone.
Drifting. And it looks like we're going to go the other way on a foul against Maryland.
Yeah, it was Christina Dulcie fouled Taylor Williams on that rebound. You can see it right there. She just shoves her underneath the basket. She's aggressive. You love that. You want an aggressive offensive rebounder. It's why she's such a good offensive rebounder. But you can't be too aggressive, at least not in front of the officials.
So that's 4 fouls on Dulcie. So Williams again to the line. She's 5 of 8. Does a great job of drawing the fouls, Shim, but she's got to be able to connect on the free throws.
Yeah. If there's one area of improvement with this senior, it would be on the free throw line.
Again, just a 56% free throw shooter. Gets 1 of 2. The steal Again, causing that turnover with the heat. You don't have to hurry, you need quality. Brown picks up that dribble. Sullivan, oh, heartbreaker. Dulcie with the rebound. And Sellers smartly wants to use clock.
That's a great look by Northwestern.
Yes. On the shot clock. Oh, could be the dagger. Tibiasu with a huge long ball.
It's the second time against this zone where they've gotten the ball out of Sarah Tibiasu's hands into Cheyenne Sellers' hands.
Daly just will not quit.
This is a great adjustment by Maryland. You take the ball out of Tibiasu's hands, put it in Cheyenne's hands, so Cheyenne is then able to facilitate the offense and get Tibiasu for an open three on the wing where she's more suited to that shot. But every time Northwestern has needed a response, Mel Daly to the rescue, whether it's her mid-range jumper, her getting on the glass, or her coming up with steals or deflection. Mel Daly has been outstanding for the Wildcats tonight.
22 points for Daly coming off the bench, 10 for 17. She's not quite at her career high, which is 25, but she has willed this club to stay in it on both ends of the floor.
Her intensity, her energy, and her sense of urgency. I talked about Maryland's sense of urgency to finish the game on the road, but let's talk about Mel Daly's sense of urgency to get to the Big Ten tournament and her what will be her final year being able to play in it. I just can't say enough about her, and it for me as a former coach, it starts well before this game ever tipped off. She was the first one on the floor for both teams. She was the first one on the floor in nearly 2 hours before the game, getting up shots.
I love the fact that you picked up on that, Shimmy. And if this game was an 80-minute game, she'd say, I want to play 79 minutes and 50 seconds, or maybe just the whole thing. But the fact that McEwen has been able to ask her to do so much, high quality, high motor, pretty impressive.
It just hits you a little different, Ann, when you're a senior. You just have that little extra desire inside.
Smart play by Schmeichel to use clock, coach. And here's Sellers, just kind of play and catch. You have no choice but to foul if you're harder.
And that's, if you're Maryland, that's whose hands you want the ball in right now in this situation. Sarah's a 92% free throw shooter.
But it's only the fourth team foul by Northwestern. So the Cats will have to foul again and quickly. Walton checking in. Sullivan will take a seat. Sullivan in double figures, 1 of 4 for the Cats. Dulcie almost loses the handle. Walton picks up that foul, team's 5th. All right, coming up, double dip rolls on, top 25 showdown at Pauley, historic Pauley, UCLA, Illinois, next on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. AJ Cannell, Elise Woodward have got you covered. So Dulcie doing a good job of getting to the free throw line, and that was a big stick. She gets them both.
That was huge for her. I mean, she's a 52% free throw shooter. So those were big, because I know that's not who Brenda Freese wanted at the line in this situation, right?
I got you.
You have Cheyenne Sellers, who's an 80% free throw shooter. Schmeichel, 80% free throw shooter. Sarah, 90% free throw shooter. Woo.
Long ball. Oh, let's not go anywhere quite yet. Walsh with the 3 ball. To the line 11 times. So active to draw those fouls. Now at 23 points for Schmeichel. This game is going to go to Maryland. But I just love the fact that Northwestern never quit on this one.
There's no such thing as an ugly win. I know.
Success is sponsored by State Farm. Already in double figures this spike when we talked about the fact that the last two games another turnover coming against Northwestern. Just
Wow.
Right now, Maryland's best offense has been their defense. They're taking those turnovers that they're creating for Northwestern, they're converting them into points. They've got 13 points already on Northwestern's numbers. And the second lifter hand, Jim. I'm telling you, energy is contagious. And Maryland really set the tone with their defense. They're connected right now. They look like they're having fun.
8-0 Maryland won. Another turnover, and the wheels are turning. Well done by Amelia. Pick that one off. Let's see if she can hit. You bet. Right here comes some heat. Backside. Italy just all over the place. Boy, she spilled that one coming, huh?
Belle Daly, I mean, she is a starter. She's a reserve in a starter's body is what she is. She's very athletic. And she's a senior. And so therefore she's playing with the sense of urgency.
Play by Walsh. Nice footwork and a quick step to basket.
I just like anything about the game of Washington.
Shows the three. I mean, she goes down so late that this game. In that game, she becomes the one and only player in program history. 1,500 points, 500 points, 500 assists. And think about it. Think about the players that have gone through the Maryland program. At least since Brenda Freeze has been there the last 20 years, 20 plus years. And she's one of she is the only. She's one of one. That's it. Nice find into the line. McLean.
I said Cheyenne Sellers is one of one. Her versatility is her strength, her ability to knock down the three, to score inside, to play the point guard when she needs to, and of course get on the glass. Can't say enough about her.
What a career she has had. In all phases of the game, shine impacts the game.
Assist. And last year she had to do so much more. They really shorthanded and developed, documented stories about Maryland and the excellent coaching job that Brenda Freeze did with that group last year. And they limped across the finish line last year in the tournament. And now this year, more talent, more depth, more shot.